I'm in the moment.
I didn't know what to expect at first.
I'm motivated, I'm excited.
You're here. You're here. Just I hope you do have an easy notebook because it's going to be Come on, come on, come on.
The moment I heard about it, I was like, I have to be there. And when he said, some of you might want to get your tickets, I got them.
Took a lot to get out here because East Coast to West Coast, time zone changes, flights, but all worth it.
If I were to set the scene for this weekend, we're in beautiful, sunny Southern California. We had a short-term rental mastermind summit.
What happens when the marketplace understands who we are and how we go out there?
Oh yes, why short-term rentals?
Real estate investing is the crown jewel of any portfolio. The short-term rental is where the real money's at.
The bottom line for me as to why short-term rentals is time. You know, you can't make more time. We're creating passive income and cash flow so that we can free ourselves up to do the things that we really, really want to be doing.
Immediately we saw the results. We still are wrapping our minds around how many people need this service and the fact that they're ready to pay a premium for it.
It's a 14-day reservation. It's $4,500.
So something that I learned early on as an entrepreneur is that you surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Everybody always has something amazing to contribute. And surrounding yourself with people like that really helps build the foundation pieces of your business. You don't have to do everything. That's the whole point of hiring a team.
Jay has created a space where we can actually be people and vulnerable.
I'm literally doing this by myself, completely by myself. It's hard for me sometimes to know that I'm doing the right thing, so it was a lot of confirmations for me, which is great because I'm walking out of here with more confidence that I'm doing the right things.
I never want you to feel like you're being steered some way. I'm just trying to show you this is how, when you ask yourself, how does Jay do it? This is how.
We've been able to take action a lot faster just because of the way Jay teaches things in a way that he does everything, it's very action-oriented.
He's always just taking himself to the next level, but then he's just a phenomenal teacher. He just gives and gives and gives.
Without having Jay part of our leadership and mentorship, we wouldn't be where we're at.
Have we driven the point home about not doing everything yourself yet?
What he's taught and what he kind of just puts out there is that this is better when all of us rise together. Like, it's not only him as the teacher anymore, like other people as they learn things, they share.
We've just gathered so many new ideas and so much new great information.
They may be spread all across the United States, but I know I have this support system that I can reach out to and say, look, I'm having these kind of issues, what do you guys suggest? And just encouragement to keep going and keep trying and keep moving forward.
This is the difference between working in your business and working on your business, is the systems and the team that you create.
Favorite part of the summit? That's hard.
Favorite thing this weekend? Gosh.
Meeting Jay after all these years.
We have a new family, which is absolutely exciting.
The information I gathered, the friendships I've made.
The place, the people, the food, the energy, and the connections, it's just, everything was just great.
Yep, I agree.
Who in this room thinks it would be a good idea to do something like this multiple times a year?
I can't wait till the next one. Make it and believe.
We'll be there. We'll sign up now. Yeah, we'll be there.
Hello everybody, how you doing? Hopefully you are excited. I know that I am. We are a mere, 48 hours away from the next summit. That's what you saw there. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, this is probably like last call for alcohol type of chance. Not that there's going to be alcohol, but you get what I'm saying. So make sure you tag Dave if at any point you're like, oh man, that's right, I was supposed to catch up with Dave. Now is the time to make it happen, period. Make it happen. There's no more spots in the house, so some of you are going to get to stay in the house with us, which is awesome, which is exciting, and I'm excited for that. But more importantly, all of you are going to leave with a full brain of information and actionable things, and we've got some exciting stuff, some additional services that we're going to be talking about, some new ways to do some marketing that we're going to be talking about. We've got taxes, we've got linens and laundry. I can't wait. I can't believe how much interest there is just in linens and laundry. But guess what? We're going to be totally crushing it. Obviously, we're going to be talking about cleaning, but more, we're going to be even talking about how to make sure that your utilities become an asset to your business as opposed to just a liability. We've got so many things packed in over this time period. So people have been asking me, hey, can we talk about that new financing structure that you've mentioned? So sure, we're, for those of you who are trying to raise more capital or grow faster, there's just a lot of things that we are going to be covering. And I'm kind of excited to meet most of you for the first time. I mean, obviously many of you have seen me in video or something of that nature. You're seeing me now. But I've not seen you yet. So I'm looking forward to meeting you. So make sure that you get here bright and early, or whatever early is. And don't forget, that's right, we're doing yoga. So come prepared to stretch not just your mind, but also your body, right? Because as well-rounded, educated, awesome entrepreneurs, we are going to make sure that you're covered from literally head to toe with what it is that you need to go out there and be successful. So nonetheless, I'm excited. I know some of you are actually, you're already out here. Like, I know Carol has already gotten on the plane. She's already here in California, like ready for it to go. And I know others of you are just driving over or flying in, and excellent. I'm glad to see that that's happening. So yeah, we're gonna do the thing, so to speak. And if you didn't know, we're gonna feed you. So you don't. My wife and the production team have been working very diligently on the menu. You guys have a lot of special menu choices and items, so we did our best. Which is interesting. I can't wait to see how it all turns out. But ultimately, you're not coming for the food. You're coming for the information and to meet the people, and that's exactly what we're going to do our best to make sure that happen. Again, if you want to make sure that you're there, tag Dave so that you can indeed join us, because we are looking forward to that. Now, for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. What we are doing, I should say, what we normally do on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time is that I go live. It's normally only in the members group, of which there are technically two. We have our student group for short-term rentals, and we have our cash flow creators group for those of you who are here for the more genuine how do I do real estate stuff. For those of you on YouTube and those of you in what we call our mastery group, this is a bonus for you. Welcome. So make sure you ask your questions. I believe, and specifically for those of you on YouTube, I believe I can actually see your questions this time. So type them, because you're kind of like a guinea pig / test. I'm hoping that I can see your questions, because I'll be looking for them either way. And if for some reason, for those of you on YouTube, we don't get your questions live, we'll go back through and get them in the comment section, because they do save them for us. So yay. With that being said, this is how it kind of works. Is for those of you who may not know anything about me, there's some data there. I'm pulling up on my phone the questions that my staff sent over to make sure that I don't miss any of the questions that were already in the group that we agreed to answer. And then for those of you who are here live, get to type in away on your keyboards, because on those keyboards is how I'm going to find, or sorry, on that in the chat room is how I'm going to find the rest of the questions that you guys have right now. Is this it? I think so. I am opening this document right now. Yes, and for those of you who may not have had the update, yes, this is not an Apple phone. I know. It is what it is, but it's not an Apple phone, okay? So I know that shocks some of you still, maybe, but it is what it is. All right, so I've got questions from Suresh, Rafa and Cindy Dumeyer. If you are not Suresh, Rafa, and Cindy, and you have a question, make sure you type it in, because the ones that I have that were submitted ahead of time are right here. All right. Suresh asked, I believe he's up in the Illinois area. He says, what is the maximum occupancy can keep per house? How to verify it? Typically, the ordinances in an area will help you with maximum occupancy. Usually it's 2 per bedroom plus 2 in the common space. So in a 1 bedroom, that would be 4. 2 bedroom, that could be 2, 4, 6. For the most part, without any sort of special occupancy permit or any sort of special zoning, that's usually how it goes. But ultimately it comes down to zoning, and this is something that can be easily ascertained and looked at by just looking up the zoning ordinances for the particular property that you have. And see, there it is. That's how it works. You ask the question, I spit the answer. Rafa, suggestion or ideas on non-slip bath mats. Does anyone provide them? We typically have not gone too far in the way of providing non-slip bath mats. However, Rafa, if you're coming to the summit, I want you to meet one of our newest students. Her name is Isabella, and her husband name is Steve. I was in one of their newest units that they just got started, and I saw I don't know how to describe it. It was like made of bamboo or something. It was a different type of non-slip bath mat type of thing that I had never seen before. So hey, come meet them, check it out. So yeah, come meet them and check it out. That's for sure. All right, let me see. Cindy, I have had great experience with Airbnb, also posted on HomeAway, etc. Every inquiry I get from other platforms other than Airbnb, they seem like scams asking for a cash price. Is this normal? Got it. So Cindy, and for those of you in the short-term rental game, I've often referred to Airbnb. First of all, let's be very clear. They're all very different marketplaces. That's the best way to look at this. Airbnb is a marketplace. Flipkey is a marketplace. Wimdu, for those of you in Europe, is a marketplace. Flat for Day, it's just a marketplace. It doesn't really matter. And there's many marketplaces that you can place your properties on. Many, 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 many. Airbnb happens to be one of the largest, if not the largest, that you are aware of, etc. Totally get it. Here's my point. Every marketplace attracts a completely different type of customer. Every marketplace has a completely different system for security and screening and scrubbing their list. Every marketplace has all of these individual characteristics that give you, the operator, you and I, the operators, the opportunity to set certain policies, procedures, and filtering. That's what makes the difference. It's not that people from those other marketplaces aren't also on Airbnb. They are. It's just that Airbnb may have tighter, they definitely have a tighter system, but they also have different screening procedures in place up front. So what makes Airbnb is that a lot of the work is on their end, and they do it on behalf of us, the operator. They literally do a lot of the work that we would normally do. That's what makes our opportunity part of what it is today. As you leave the, we'll call it training ground, or training wheels is what I tend to call Airbnb. As you leave that training ground, more and more and more of the responsibility shifts from them to you. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to be aware of that. Like, for example, when you're on Booking.com, I strongly suggest, and have always suggested, that you spend a significant, and by significant I mean 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of time on the phone with your local representative, understanding which buttons and levers to press and shift for your policies, because that's what they call them on Booking.com, for your policies, because they will have a drastic effect on your experience with that particular platform. If you don't understand how that platform achieves its screening and security, Cindy, it's going to make it a challenge. It just really, really is. But again, that's one of the best benefits of being inside our student groups, etc., is because we have a lot of you who have had experience with a lot of platforms and understand a lot of the policies and procedures and the insider tricks of, nope, click this button, don't click that button. That type of stuff happens all the time. So I hear you, I understand, but that's part of the opportunity, is learning to figure that out. All right. Let's see. Who do we have here today? Anthony, what's up? How are you doing? Music is glitching. Yes, it was. That's also, I think I've figured out what the issue is. The computer that I am using to run this live stream, let's just say it's a number of years old at this point. And it's really signaling to me that I need an upgrade. And I just haven't done it, and I think that's what's going on, because even as I'm looking at it right now, it's telling me that the system CPU is running at 90+%, which is, it's not good for the computer, and the computer is getting old. It feels like it probably needs a wheelchair or something at this point, and that's just what's going down. Anyway, Brandon, how are you? I'm glad that you are here. Better now. Awesome. Hey, TJ. Hopefully, TJ, I don't know if you're coming, but I look forward to meeting you. Chris Nwaller, how are you? Susan, well, not gonna make this summit, but in the future, but I got a little light reading to do myself. First, my copy of Profit First came. That's excellent. So, and that's a good point, Susan. I've often recommended the book Profit First by Michael Michalowicz. Okay, if you haven't picked it up, you probably want to, because one of the financing strategies, if you want to make the most of it, will require you to understand your numbers according to the way Profit First breaks them down. It's going to help you, especially if you're like, how am I going to get another unit? How do I get my X number of units? Okay, cool. Understand Profit First. It's going to be important. Brenda Tillman, how are you? It's good. And let's see. Marcy, resident bookkeeper genius, is here. I can apply the principles of Profit First to my personal finances. Absolutely, Susan. Anthony, how are you? Susan, Shannon Keating, what are you? I thought you were supposed to be like in some Caribbean country or something. What are you doing here, man? Take a break. Take a break. It's okay. Let's see who else. Carol, what's up? Oh my goodness, lots of questions in that group. Can't wait to get to those. Let me finish with a few more hellos. Was that Carol, Jarrett, Jeremy Nixon, Maria Newton, how are you? Matt Owens, what's going on? Hey Matt, I haven't heard back from you. I need what's up. We need to know about, you know what we need to talk about. Jim and Matt, are you coming to the summit? You really should. You've got to squeeze it. I promise you. I know time is precious, but this is one of those things that will increase your income with exponential curves on it. All right. Hey Jim, what's going down? Paul, Sarah, how are you guys? I see James is here as well. James Finney, that is. And let me see if there are any more over here. Marlo, oh no, that's Mario. Marlo. Hey Mario, how are you? And Steven Nelson, excellent. All right, let's see. Looking for some more. Okay, so here's, let me go say hi to the YouTube people. Yes, I can see the YouTube chat. It's there. I see Susan, I see Anthony and Shirley Connor. Right now, I'm so fired up. Oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm right now, I feel like I just won. I won the internet today because I can see the comments on YouTube. That's all I know. Life is good. All right, moving on. Let's get down to some more questions. All right, let's see. We've got Jarrett Rogers. It says many private locations are asking for 2 years tax history and 3 months bank account statements. How do we circumvent this request while building a brand new business history and credit? I don't know. First of all, I'm not quite sure what you mean by private locations, but if they're asking for 2 years tax history and 3 months bank account statements, and this is your first go, then give them your 2 years tax history or 3 months bank statements. And if your business doesn't have that, it has to be based upon your personal numbers. Nothing wrong with that. That works all the time. But you're not circumventing it. You don't. You face it head on. That's what you do, and you leverage that information to get to the next step. So hopefully that helps. But also remember, though, Jarrett, is that you still want to do your lease in the name of an entity. So you still want that, but it can be, yeah. And as far as the credit checks goes, that you still want the credit to be based upon the business, not you. But you can give a personal guarantee. That's a whole nother story for another time. Probably should talk to your attorney, which is not me, as I feel like I should just have this scrolling disclaimer. I'm not your attorney. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not your accountant. I'm not your CPA. I'm not any of those things. Anyway, Sarah, hey Jay, so sad I'm missing this fun this weekend. Yeah, you need a little warm up, Sarah. I mean, I know Minot, North Dakota is probably not that cold right now, but still. Next time, my question is breaking a lease a bad move as far as business rapport goes? Yes, it is. I'm thinking about breaking one of the 3 I have in Minot to be able to move it to Minneapolis, but I still have to work with the landlords on the other 2 for the time being. Got it. So instead of breaking it, negotiate a replacement. So instead of saying, hey, Mr. Landlord, I need to jet, good luck, say, hey, Mr. Landlord, I need to jet, but is it okay with you if I find you a replacement tenant? That's way better, because that's ultimately what we're talking about. That's what I want to do. I need to relocate, and in the meantime, so that you're not put out, you're not at a loss, is it okay if I find a replacement tenant for you? And that could be their traditional long-term tenant. If you did not negotiate that originally in the lease, now is the time to get on the phone and make that happen. Okay? But yeah, don't break the lease. Jarrett, what tax structure should we use when setting up an LLC? S Corp, C Corp, etc. That's a question for the tax guy. And actually, we have a tax guy going to be at the summit, which is interesting, because that is a very personal situation decision. I actually don't even use an LLC for this. I only use LLCs when I actually own the property versus running the business. So 2 different things. Let's see, James. Hey Jay, is it common? I don't know. Probably not. Is it common for a complex to require every guest you host to have a background check performed by the complex prior to their stay? I have heard that before. I have had people ask, and then I just simply ask why. Instead of running back like, oh, okay, I don't move past that question. That's a, why do you require that? Help me understand what your concern is. And usually the concern is liability. Usually the concern is the sex offenders list. And usually that can be handled by saying, hey, we're the one that's going to be liable for them, period. That usually gets through that particular issue. So hopefully that makes sense. Anthony, hey Jay, Akila and myself are in downtown Chicago near a lot of hotels and good food. Would you consider 1-beds or studios? What's your personal preference? Got it. When I run my numbers and look at things, how do I say this? It really depends, because there are just caveats, right? Whom do I want to serve? Whom I want to serve leans towards 1-bedrooms and studios with an occasional 2-bedroom. That's who I want to serve. Some of you, it could be nothing but really big houses, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's based upon who you want to serve. If I was in Chicago, I would be leaning to the 1-bedrooms and studios, probably closer, even more so to the studios. I know this, our studio floor plan, the rent is so low, and the difference in revenue between the 1-bedroom versus a studio is so minimal, and in a lot of places, that you make up for it. So let's pretend that your studios are $500 a month less revenue, but usually the spread between the 1-bedroom rent and the studio rent is somewhere in there where it makes it work out right. So but it really depends. There is no universal answer. I've used both, and there are times where they make sense. So but I like our studios, that's for sure. Jim, what's up? James Morrow. Ronald, how are you? And great option too, because you salvage the relationship. Yes, Ronald, when talking about Sarah and breaking the lease, instead of cutting bait, you want to figure out a way to have a softer landing for them and for you. James, are you using Price Labs to run your numbers? What does that mean when you break it out? Price Labs does manage our revenue, but when I say I'm running numbers, these are reporting tools that I am using that tell me about my numbers, and then I can juxtapose that. Again, if you have the right kind of bookkeeping, you juxtapose that against either a profit and loss or a statement that's being generated for you on your behalf by your bookkeeper, so that you can actually understand how things are playing out for you. That's what I mean when I say running my numbers, James. All right, do I have any more questions? All right, get to typing, because when you stop asking, I guess we're kind of done. That's how this kind of works. All right, so I'm going to go over to YouTube here in just a bit, because I'm curious to see what questions are over there. Look at that. All right, Anthony Johnson, my sister and I want to get into short-term rentals. How do we structure the business? Should we get in an LLC? That's a question for an attorney. They're either going to recommend, based upon your personal, sometimes tax or sometimes asset protection situation, they're going to recommend either an LLC or an S corporation or a C corporation. I know, not the answer you want, but I'm not an attorney, and it depends is the best answer, most responsible answer I can give. I can tell you that I use an S corporation. However, that's what was recommended for me. That's just the way it is. Shirley Connor, what's up, Jay? I am a raving fan. Thank you. Planning to attend your next summit. Woohoo! Susan says, yay, so glad you can see us. Yes, I can. Never a good thing to leave someone in the lurch or hanging that way. So yeah, better to be on good terms with the landlord you're leaving. Yes, absolutely, absolutely, 100%. All right, looking for more questions. Let me see. Are they being hidden from me? I don't think so. Oh, there we go. For most units, Anthony's asking, for most units you acquire, are these typically small 6-unit private landlords or 80+ large multi-units? When I say owner direct, if an owner has, if I can talk to the direct owner of an 80+ large multi-unit, then that's fine. I don't really care how big the complex is, but most of the time the owner operators that I'm talking about that have these buildings, usually that's a 20-unit building or smaller. Not always, but usually that's the case. It's a 20, maybe it's a 24-unit building. Or smaller is typically what I'm referring to or what I'm talking about. So usually somewhere between 5 and 24 units is the type of building that I'm referring to, and depending on your geographic area, that can be a challenge sometimes. Like that's a challenge in Orange County. So in Orange County, there are, instead of a publicly traded REIT, there are still privately held corporations that are larger that also can function very well in this for this model. But again, keywords are privately held corporation versus publicly traded REIT. So, and that's a harder thing to find, much harder thing to find. But depending on your geographic area, you'll be able to find them. And there's more of them coming into Orange County as we speak, especially along with what I like to call the Jamboree Corridor. Super business center. It's crazy how much construction is happening. Pretty excited about it. Okay. Looking. Steven Ramirez is here. What's going on, sir? How are you? Looking for questions. What? No more questions. Come on, YouTube. Today is the day I can see you. Today is the day for you to ask your questions. I can finally see you. This is when you do it, man. Anyway. I'm having fun. All right. Any more questions? Okay. So one of the things I just want to make sure that for those of you who if you haven't already, make sure that you speak with Dave regarding the summit. We're going to be having lots of fun, lots of food. There's actually 2 swimming pools. I'm not sure how much time we're going to spend in them, but there are 2 of them. So I just want to say that. One is indoor, one is outdoors. Kind of cool. And make sure you come prepared. I would say get lots of sleep, but it's not really going to matter because it's multiple days and there's not going to want to sleep at some point, and that's great. But it's going to be good. It's going to be good. What is your recommendation to get into a large REIT like the Irvine Company? Hey, Jared. IVC or Irvine Company. Why did I say IVC? That's a college. Irvine Company. We've gone on the road and communications with the Irvine Company. Let's just say wait. There is it, and right now, Jared, to be honest, instead of going down the road instead of going down the road of an Irvine company, what you should focus on is the owner-controlled buildings. That's the lower hanging fruit. You can build your portfolio, your operations there, so that when it's time to approach a larger REIT, you can actually have real numbers to present that might actually impress them and show that you can absorb, because that's what they're concerned about. Like, can you absorb? We have a lot of inventory, because you come to them and say, yes, I'd like 1 unit, please. They're like, okay. Can you do 40? How do you do that? Those are two completely different conversations for them. So you got to keep that in mind. Again, back to build it on simply putting your owner-controlled buildings together. That, I know it's more work. Got it. Oh, Jim, who services do you use so you only have to work a few hours a week? The main thing is the automation, and there's a tech stack that goes along with that. After you've handled the tech stack, then some of the people that you're always going to need a grounds guy. We call that person our operations associate. They go and actually change batteries, stock the storage. But there's a lot of decisions that go into it. So, for example, keeping an external storage is one of the keys to maintaining your work hours or keeping your work hours low. If you start having an internal storage closet, meaning inside your unit, and you have a storage closet for each unit, that begins to up the man hours required for operations. So you got to have someone who is an operations associate, and I know for me that's Jim right there. So that works out very, very well. But you also need to structure your cleaning in an efficient manner. I prefer to have one person in charge of the cleaning. I talk to this person. They talk to the cleaning staff. Whether this person is internal or an external company isn't that big of a deal to me. But I do only want one person to talk to who manages the cleaning staff. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And then after that, you also are some of the major things that you're gonna need is the linen service. And again, if you have a central storage location, it makes it easier to have linen service, pick up, drop off, switch, boom, do it again, pick up, drop off, woohoo. And we've actually just started our linen service to be now 3 pickups a week, because we got a lot of linen. It's now 3 pickups a week. That's all I know. Is lots of dirty stuff flying everywhere. Sheets and towels and sheets, towels and bedspreads. Oh my. Anyway, Anthony, who has been more easier to work with, private landlord or public trades companies such as REITs? Private landlord by far. Well, rephrase. There's a trade-off. The private landlord is sometimes more difficult to get started with. They're definitely more difficult to find, but sometimes they're more difficult to get started with. But the longevity of that relationship is way more secure, which is why we continue to suggest going down that route. The REITs or the larger, shinier stuff can sometimes be easier to get into, but they're way less stable later. And the other trade-off is with the REITs, you will always get better maintenance. Let me say it again. With the REITs, you'll always get better maintenance. With the private landlord, you may need to build your own maintenance team. Sorry, there's no other way to put it. What do I see? Anthony Keela Shabazz will be there. Yes, I am looking forward to meeting you guys from Chicagoland. I wonder how many people are coming from Chicago, Chi-Town. This is not windy out here. It's just perfect. I warn you, for those of you who have not been to Southern California before, and if you're coming, be prepared to want to stay. That's all I got to say on that. Hey, Steve, how are you? I see you there. Let's see who. Oh, here's some more questions. Davy June, are you doing private coaching? Davy, I do, but let me be really clear. For most people, it's well out of the price range. It's not that it's not available, but that's why I invest so much time this way, is so that you don't feel like you actually need it, right? But yeah, it's there. but it's not my recommended path for most people, simply because it's usually price prohibitive. But that's okay if you want to step up to the plate. You better be ready to play, though. That's for sure. Is this model viable with a owner-occupied multiplex with FHA? Good question. Depends on the lender. We have had to work with a number of different landlords and their lenders in order to help the landlord qualify for the loan. Now, in all of those cases, I don't believe they went down an FHA route. I don't know, but I cannot definitively say absolutely or no. I just know we had to help them by providing specialized documentation that would help them qualify for their either refinance or, well, it's usually a refinance loan. That's what it was. What's it? It's I'm assuming he meant owner occupied. Susan, you know how sometimes us real estate people, we like to use fancy terms or something instead of just typing out words. It's what we do. Steven, hey Jay, question. Do you have a minimum cash amount for investors to invest with you in acquiring properties? I have several investors that are purchasing a multi-unit properties with me to run my short-term rentals out of, and they're asking if I have a minimum investing amount. Thanks, you rock. Got it. So, Steven, what it comes down to is if they're going to buy the property, let them buy the property. Understand, there's a separation between the property and your business. Your business is one thing. The property is something else. The two are not the same. It's the same thing that happens with like a gas station and the land on the gas station, or a restaurant, maybe an El Pollo Loco, and the land that it's on. It's two completely different things, and you need to treat it that way. So if they want to go buy a building, you can help them in their building selection by saying, hey, I'd like a building in this area with these features and rehab this way. And if you're willing to do that, great, I'll take the whole building. Ta-da! But do not conflate the two, because your business is something completely separate. So therefore, that's a long way of saying there's no need for a minimum cash amount. They need to go buy a building. Period. Keep it separate. Brandon, owner-occupied loan. Yes, the idea is to get my feet wet with an investment property in an area that would give negative cash flow with normal tenants. Yes, exactly. Brandon, you are hitting on so many things. When I discovered this model, I mean, one of my students brought it to me, said, hey, what do you think about this? And I mean, I've had a lot of those, what do you think about this types of conversations. This is the only one that's ever turned into something. Anyway, I realized that, yeah, you could take a $2 million house and actually make a cash flow. This is good. Let's dig in further. And so, Brandon, yeah, there you go. Hey, Paul, how are you? Susan, yeah, you folks do love your acronyms and alphabet soup sometimes. Yes, they do. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but it is what it is. Oh, look at that. I see questions on YouTube. I love it. Susan, if I don't know a good lawyer in the area, would it be a good idea for me to consult with the small business administration / development folks in my area? Yes, or SCORE. For those of you, let me see if I can pull that up. SCORE. For those of you who don't know, a great place for all of us entrepreneurs to go to get some assistance in business-related things is SCORE. I really forgot what SCORE stands for, but it's a number of retired VPs, C-level execs, etc., who are looking for a way to contribute to the next generation of entrepreneurs. So give them a shot. Why? Because it'll work. I mean, they know stuff, and you don't yet. So go look for SCORE. That's score.org. That will help you out tremendously. Hey, Jay, is this only about Airbnb? No, it's about short-term rentals. Is that Paris? Because Airbnb, again, when you see go back to the beginning, Airbnb is just a marketplace. A marketplace does not define a business model at all. It's like saying, is my retail business only about Amazon? No, anyway, you get my point. So moving on. Anthony, what's up? Hey, Jay, unfortunately, will not be able to make this summit, but will not miss the next one. Are you using Price Labs exclusively for pricing? Nope, not exclusively. Susan, we have a chapter of SCORE here. Yay! Yes, there's probably a chapter of SCORE nearly everywhere. All right, let's keep going. Lots of questions flooding in now, even on YouTube. You guys have no idea how excited I am right now that YouTube is working. All right. Looking. Davey, what's going on? I am subleasing 30 units across the country. Okay. But need a lot of help and tips in acquiring more. Do you have an acquisition course in finding great properties to sublet? Got it. If you already have 30 units and you're having trouble acquiring more, that says other things are going on that I would want to dig. I would want to dig into your systems and understand that. Now I understand why you were asking about private coaching. Davey, send an email over to info@cashflowdiary.com. Talk to Della. Della will begin to get you some of those details. Now, Davey, makes more sense. Thank you for the clarification. Let's see. Steve Maria Newton, how are you? Hey, Jay, looking forward to this weekend. Me too. Although it might be a little bit warm, so be ready for that. Have not yet set up my S-Corp, but have had conversations. My question is, if I find a unit prior to the structure being set up, go ahead and get the lease and place the lease under the business name. Yes, that is what I do, 100%. Thinking I can finalize the structure afterwards, I would like to confirm, and yes, Southern California is nice. You are absolutely right. Typically, if the business structure isn't done and I'm in the process of the lease, what I will do is it's very similar to what you said, but I will also pay for the expedited service. Nearly every state has some form of an expedited service that will help you to be able to get the filing done faster. I mean, I've gotten them done in as fast as 24 hours. And if you're working with an actual human attorney, they usually know that process. I never, and I mean never, recommend a legal Zoom. That doesn't mean some people aren't using them. I just never recommend a legal Zoom for things like this, even though they'd probably make a really good sponsor. Oh well, moving on. It is what it is. Jeremy J, hate that I will miss the summit, but we are expecting our first child next week. Awesome. My third child, her birthday actually is right in the middle of the summit. Shh, don't tell her. If it makes you feel any better, the summit starts on what is my wedding anniversary. Now, so that you know, it was my wife's idea. Before you be like, dang, Jay, that's messed up. Your kid's birthday, your wife's anniversary, what are you doing? So I just want to be really clear about that. But congratulations, Jeremy. Your life is already changed, and it will never be the same. See, but will there be a way for those who can't attend the summit to get the information that you guys will cover? Jeremy, we have historically said no, and I have no different information than that right now for you. I'm sorry. So you got to be there, got to be in the room. We know, we keep hearing, hey Jay, how can I participate virtually? We do not have that capability at this particular moment in time. You guys have no idea how much that stuff costs. It eats a lot of money. Anyway, but it makes it more special. That's why you got to come, pay attention, have some fun. Anthony, we had a guy from SCORE that did our business plan. Oh, that's good. Questions. Also, when acquiring units, do you prefer to use a turn rental company or a rental company or buy the furniture? It depends. It depends. Okay. When you are trying to spread your capital to get your footprint going as fast as humanly possible, renting the furniture makes sense for a time. At some point, you will all eventually want to own the furniture. The question is what's your bottleneck, right? Do you want, if the cost of buying the furniture is the bottleneck right now to you getting your next 10 units, then probably rental makes sense. If, however, it's not, then maybe not. The point I'm saying is I would rather you get more locations and then quote unquote refinance your furniture by either buying out the lease or buying the furniture later than sacrificing the opportunity of the number of locations. That's a huge opportunity cost to pay just to quote unquote own the furniture. Ask me how I know. Marcy, Poppy, yes, exactly. Everett, how are you? Hopefully You're doing well. Aika, what's up? You have the awesomest wife ever. Wow, maybe she should be doing this instead of me. Oh, it's like, yeah. Let's see. Davey. Oh, nope, I already answered that. Let's go over to YouTube. Let's see if we got, oh, I saw it go up. What other platforms for pricing? I was what Anthony, when I said what I said, I was like, I wonder if he's going to catch and re-ask the question behind that. I'm always testing multiple things, but the other pricing platform that's always running in my background is Wheelhouse. Joshua Dortch, how are you? Going for a second short-term rental. What secrets to getting funding? Oh, Joshua, that's exactly why we're going to be at the summit this week, because I've got new stuff and I'm excited about it. But for now, here's what I will say to you, sir. It's not that hard if you have proof of concept. And it really boils down to open your mouth and tell somebody. And by that, I mean educate to dominate. And by that, I mean invite them over to play a game of cash flow. Tell them what you're doing. Take them by the short-term rental. Watch what happens. That's really going to open it up for you. Paris, hey, what's up? Thanks. Short-term rental. I have a property under contract, but I'm stuck in the quiet title process. Sorry to hear that. That can take a while. How long should it take to get a quiet title? Normally. There is no normally for this, because a quiet title process, I have been through it, is technically you're filing a lawsuit in order to claim, to make sure that you are the one and only and rightful true owner of said property. Part of that requires a notification to any potential parties that have an interest, and then waiting for those parties to respond, which can be up to a 6-month window to wait. It can be a long time, and you got to wait for all of them to respond before the court can say, well, since nobody's tried to make a claim, it's clearly yours, and that can take some time. I know you want it to go faster. I'm sorry. How do you feel about Legal Shield for consultation? Good point. I don't know how I feel. I've never actually used them. To be honest, I don't mind. Again, when it comes to, there are certain things I don't want to try to cut corners on at all. And legal is one of them, because you never know when you're actually going to need it. And when you do need it, you're like, so glad you have it. And because there are just some things. And again, Legal Shield, there's probably very quality attorneys there who are using that as what I would call a tripwire or a lead magnet, if you will, to get into the conversation. So they're leveraging Legal Shield to be their marketing arm so that they can actually get the type of clients that they want. So again, I don't know. But I know this. I want a human that I can talk to and reach out. Susan, so you're saying quiet title is misnamed like short sales? Absolutely. Quiet title is definitely not quiet, and it definitely isn't short. But it is all about the title, so that's good. That is definitely good, guys. We got a few more minutes. Make sure that those questions get in the chat box before I jet out of here, and I'm gonna go hang out with my 10-year-old. That's what we're going to do today. The 10-year-old. And get this, my 21-year-old is currently stuck at the airport, which is awesome. She's on her way to do some work with our church over in Haiti, and it's her first time traveling internationally, and she's totally freaked out, and she's had everything not go right, missed her flight, you name it, as like a first time going internationally that has not gone well. I mean, it's a miracle. The only thing I keep telling her is like, look, make sure you have your passport, your cell phone, and a cell phone charger. If you got those 3 things, we can probably continually help you through this process. Anyway, so I gotta go help her, and I'm gonna help hang out with my 10-year-old for sure. But guys, get your questions in there. That's pretty funny. Steven says, ooh, quiet title sucks. Yes, it does. Woo! Yeah, it's not fun. Davey says, I'll be at the summit. Excellent. Can't wait to have you. Let me see. Steven just started oh, good. Love the spreadsheet. I have to step it up on the 40 points per day. Steven Ramirez, you are 100% correct. The reason the 40 points worksheet exists is to give you an idea of what it's going to take to make your business run and work. Many people want to earn a full-time income without full-time effort, and you gotta figure out what does that look like. Davey, I'm trying to get away from guesty software. Davey, you're gonna love me. Okay, maybe you'll love us, but you're gonna have some fun at the summit, because yes, we have gotten away from guesty software. What are your thoughts on HostAway? No. AirGMS properly together to manage both Airbnb and HomeAway bookings. Davey, come to the summit. We're gonna crush that one for you. Okay, we are legit gonna crush that one for you. So no stress, no stress. All right, Maria. Oh wow, more questions. Will we be able to look at a unit in process this weekend? Maybe, but probably not, because the calendar is super in flux right now. I hear where you're going with that, Maria. That one is very hard to arrange. That's just all I'm trying to say. It's just very hard to arrange. Everett James says, hey Jay, hi. Oh Jay, I'm new and saw someone mention a book Profit First. Where is that available? Amazon. Steve, if corporate credit is not an option, what is the most favorable financing option for short-term rentals? Steve, I know you're going to be at the summit. I can't wait. I want to explain it 100%. Come, you'll be there. Take notes. I am reserving 3 topics for myself. One is marketing, because I got some cool stuff there for you. Pricing, because I got some cool stuff there for you. And financing, because I got some really cool stuff there for you. So it's going to be fun. Anthony, also thanks for the recommendation. We got approved for Clearbank. What? What do you think of purchasing multi-units and making a portion of units Airbnb? I think that's the reason I'm doing this thing, Anthony. So, yeah, I think that's the whole point. Short-term rentals, in my opinion, is the cash flow engine that keeps spitting out down payments. It's the proverbial goose that lays down payment eggs so you can go buy as much property as you want. Yes. Carol, it is a quiet title cause you spend months hearing crickets. Yes, exactly. Oh, Romeo, what's up? This is great. Thank you. Don't know what it is, but I'm glad it's great. Jay, how do you feel about corporate housing on days when Airbnb is slow? I think it's great. Ultimately, guys, Airbnb is a marketplace. It's not all of your business. It is not. It may be where you start and acquire most of your customers from. You should be moving towards direct business as much as humanly possible. I know for a fact that one of the participants, one of the people you're going to hear from at the summit, his name is Robert. He started last year, and now 20%, full on 20% of his revenue comes from somewhere other than Airbnb. Understand that that's important. You want to continue to work and massage that percentage until it's 50, 60, 70%, because what it really means is that you make more money per night when you do it that way, like a lot more. Okay. What am I looking for? Jay, can you get me the info for the summit? Dave, I will make sure Dave reaches out to you and make sure that happens. Maria, okay, understood. Thanks. Profit First is on Audible as well. That is true, Sarah. It's one of the few books, though, however, where I prefer Audible too, like most everything. But I also needed the Kindle version because there are so many diagrams in that book that if you've never been exposed to a concept and they're talking about just like in diagram A, I'm like, I don't know what diagram A looks like, dude. You know, I struggled at that part, so I ended up going to get the Kindle book as well so that I could see what they were talking about. Great answer, Jay. You're welcome. You're welcome, Anthony. Hopefully, there's many more great answers in your future, because that's what the summit's all about, getting some of those answers. All right, let me go over to YouTube one more time because we are excited that I can see their questions. And then it looks like we'll be done. Happy anniversary to you and Poppy. I know, right? And happy birthday to the little one having it. Exactly. What church are you worshiping about? If you can name, it's LA Church of Christ in Orange County, which is still funny to me. It's the Los Angeles Church of Christ, but we're in Orange County. Moving on. David Patrick, what's up? Why would a lease signed by a short-term rental company be considered subletting at all when the company has a tenant technically is not turning over possession to the person that they are renting it to? David Patrick, I love you right now. It's actually not subletting, but that's the word most real estate people want to keep using, and they're using it inappropriately. You are 100% correct, David Patrick. You win. I don't know what you win because we have nothing to give away, but you are absolutely correct. There's a time, sometimes I fight. I'm like, no, you're using the wrong term. But today I was like, you know what, whatever, just move on. We'll get there. So you are 100% correct, David Patrick. That's, yeah, don't use the word because that's not what you mean. That's not what you're doing. I am with you 100%. When will the next summit be? Good question, Anthony Johnson. I don't know yet, but we will figure it out. Oh my goodness. But probably it'll be sooner than later. I don't know. We don't have it on the calendar. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to get you to motivate and figure it out. And yes, I believe that some of you, I don't care where you are, you could be in Maine right now. By the way, are any of you in Maine? That would be interesting. You can be in Maine right now. And I make this promise to you. You get the plane ticket, you get here, I promise you'll be glad you spent the money. Not just, oh, I was worth it. You'll be like, oh my God, I was glad I spent the money. All right? So get on out here. It's worth it. Be there. Let's see. Hey, Billy Keels all the way from Spain. How are you? Glad that you are here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always fun for me to talk to you. I know my question was confusing. No, David, your question was perfect. Your question was perfect. So do not even do not think it was bad. It was actually perfect. It tells me that you actually think about these things, and I like it. Anyway, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's always fun that you hang out with me, that you give me the opportunity to help you in any way that I can. As I said before, we're always here, do our best to give you the information that you need to go out there and be successful. And for those of you coming to the summit, I'm looking forward to it. If you have not gotten your ticket, contact Dave. Dave is in the Facebook group. Contact Dave. Message Dave. Make it happen. It's not too late. You want to be there. You really, really, really do. With that being said, some of you probably joined late. You're like, what's that whole summit thing anyway? Well, watch this video. And it was fun talking to you guys today. Talk to you soon. Until next time. Oh, that didn't work. Why is the video not playing? Play the video.
I'm in the moment.
I didn't know what to expect at first.
I'm motivated, I'm excited.
You're here. You're here. Just I hope you do have an empty notebook because it's going home filled. Come on.
The moment I heard about it, I was like, I have to be there. And when he said, some of you might want to get your tickets, I got them.
Took a lot to get out here because East Coast to West Coast, time zone changes, flights, but all worth it.
If I were to set the scene for this weekend, we're in beautiful, sunny Southern California. We had a short-term rental mastermind summit.
What happens when the marketplace understands who we are and how we go out there?
Oh yes, why short-term rentals?
Real estate investing is the crown jewel of any portfolio. The short-term rental is where the real money's at.
The bottom line for me as to why short-term rentals is time. You know, you can't make more time. We're creating passive income and cash flow so that we can free ourselves up to do the things that we really, really want to be doing.
Immediately we saw the results. We still are wrapping our minds around how many people need this service and the fact that they're ready to pay a premium for it.
It's a 14-day reservation, it's $4,500.
So something that I learned early on as an entrepreneur is that you surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Everybody always has something amazing to contribute. And surrounding yourself with people like that really helps build the foundation pieces of your business. You don't have to do everything. That's the whole point of hiring a team.
Jay has created a space where we can actually be people and vulnerable.
I'm literally doing this by myself, completely by myself. It's hard for me sometimes to know that I'm doing the right thing, so it was a lot of confirmations for me, which is great because I'm walking out of here with more confidence that I'm doing the right things.
I never want you to feel like you're being steered some way. I'm just trying to show you this is how, when you ask yourself, how does Jay do it? This is how.
We've been able to take action a lot faster just because the way Jay teaches things and the way that he does everything, it's very action-oriented.
He's always just taking himself to the next level, but then he's just a phenomenal teacher. He just gives and gives and gives.
Without having Jay part of our leadership and mentorship, we wouldn't be where we're at.
Have we driven the point home about not doing everything yourself yet?
What he's taught and what he kind of just puts out there is that this is better when all of us rise together. Like, it's not only him as the teacher anymore, like other people, as they learn things, they share.
We've just gathered so many new ideas and so much new great information.
They may be spread all across the United States, but I know I have this support system that I can reach out to and say, look, I'm having these kind of issues, what do you guys suggest? And just encouragement to keep going and keep trying and keep moving forward.
This is the difference between working in your business and working on your business, is the systems and the team that you create.
Favorite part of the summit? That's hard.
Favorite thing this weekend? Gosh.
Meeting Jay after all these years.
We have a new family, which is absolutely exciting.
The information I gathered, the friendships I've made.
The place, the people, the food, the energy, and the connections, it's just, everything was just great.
Yep, I agree.
Who in this room thinks it would be a good idea to do something like this multiple times a year?
I can't wait till the next one. Make it and believe.
We'll be there. We'll sign up now. Yeah, we'll be there.
I'm in the moment.
I didn't know what to expect at first.
I'm motivated, I'm excited.
You're here. You're here. Just I hope you do have an empty notebook because it's going home filled. Come on, come on, come on.
The moment I heard about it, I was like, I have to be there. And when he said, some of you might want to get your tickets, I got them.
Took a lot to get out here because